Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Confirmation hearings. I think people should listen to this. I know that probably most people on the left already have their minds made up about him. And I just wanted to state that, I think that people should really be listening and not misrepresenting. And that goes for anybody. And this is one of my biggest criticisms of the left is that, whatever comes out about Robert F. Kennedy, and I'm not saying he's perfect at all, but what I have witnessed over the last several years is that his argument has repeatedly been misrepresented. And I think at this point, it's just so tainted, you're not going to be able to figure out what is the. And I think that that is, in fact, one of the goals of mainstream media, of establishment, government, whoever it is to basically muddy the waters so much that we can't understand how to find truth. And that's what I criticize. And shame on the left, and I've stated this repeatedly, that, when you sit there and you misrepresent and you just basically frame Robert F. Kennedy as just some quote, anti-vaccine conspiracy theory, kook, brain worm, parasite, blah, 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 whatever it is, right? Or criticizing the fact that he is vocal, he has vocal dysphonia. I'm trying to think what it is, which is a condition. Okay, and when you criticize him, like, I can't even understand what he says. Oh, he's a drug addict. Who's this? It's like, do you hear yourself? For someone that is on the left that claims to be more informed, more intelligent, able to engage in healthy, mature conversations, you are not doing that when you do that. So just admit it, okay? His position, on vaccines has been completely misrepresented. And, I know people are going, but he flip-flops. I'm like, okay, he's been very consistent. And the thing that I criticize about the left is that, somehow the left is suddenly clinging to Pfizer and clinging to Big Pharma and saying, oh, they must not be questioned because, this whole narrative about, oh, well, vaccines are safe. No, vaccines are not safe. Okay. They're not safe for everybody. Maybe you and me, we've all been vaccinated. We're fine. We've lived our lives. We're not having any adverse reaction. That does not mean that quote unquote vaccines are safe. Okay. And he has stated that vaccines are not safe for everybody. Okay. For everybody. Not everybody is going to be safe by taking a vaccine. Now, we've got to separate. Each vaccine needs to be taken on its merit. What he has stated is that he wants the science regarding vaccines. Hi, thank you. I'm going to finish my point here. The thing about Robert F. Kennedy is that his positions is that he wants to get the science out. Pfizer, a few years ago during the COVID vaccine, the whole COVID issue and our pandemic, COVID said that they were going to be slow walking out all of the science and the scientific reports regarding the COVID vaccine. Okay. What he has stated, go back and listen to what he has talked about with regards to the COVID vaccine. Okay. The mRNA vaccines. All right. And it's like, really listen to what he's saying and understanding, that no one can sue. People have been harmed. Okay. The COVID vaccine was released under an emergency authorization. Okay. So that was before it had all the proper vetting that a regular vaccine has. Okay. And so, and they were saying, oh, you just have to get one shot and you'll never get COVID again. And he predicted, and he said, just watch, the media is going to be walking this back. And indeed, they actually did that. Okay. They actually were stating that when they go through, there's a whole montage of saying, oh, yes, well, this is 100% effective and you'll never have to get the COVID vaccine again and it'll eradicate blah, 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 blah. And then you go into like the coming year. Oh, well, we need we need to get this booster and this booster and this booster is going to help with, because it's the type of virus it is, folks. But people don't want to be, accurate and honest about that conversation. And I will state this again. I have a cousin who was injured by Vioxx. Okay, look up the Vioxx lawsuit, right? That was an anti-inflammatory drug that ended up being removed from the market, and there were lawsuits with regards to heart damage, okay? Because she had been harmed by Vioxx, she was told not to get the COVID vaccine, okay? So she had a um, medical permission to not be vaccinated, right? Even if there's going to be a mandate. But she got so ridiculed by friends and family and the left over not being vaccinated, even though she was told she cannot get this vaccine. I have another friend in England. She dutifully got her original vaccine. When she went to get her update, her booster vaccine, the next morning she could not talk and she couldn't swallow. Okay. So she had had an adverse reaction. She was in the hospital for over a week. Okay. And that was like in 2021, I think. And, people want to say, oh, but the COVID vaccine is safe. And it's like, we're not given all the information. And all these people just go along to be sheeps. And we can't have rational conversations. Now, with regards to the vaccine court, okay, like people probably don't even know about the VAERS site, right? VAERS was the adverse reaction database. And, people were reporting back that normally when you get a vaccine, you can report, oh, wow, I'm getting this weird adverse reaction. People were discouraged from actually using that website because, and this is quote, some of the medical people were like, well, we were told from the administrators not to do that because then, they were completely cherry picking all this data. They were scared that people were going to, be using it, or there was going to be bad faith actors using it and trying to like manipulate this data. So just don't report the adverse reactions to this thing. So we'll never really know because they were discouraged from actually reporting any adverse reactions from the COVID vaccine. Okay. And that makes me mad because the VAERS site has been around for many, many years and it should be used responsibly. But because of politics and because of propaganda, mostly by Big Pharma, it was not used properly. So we will not probably actually know for certain the science with regards to how many people had been injured by that vaccine. Okay. As terms of the lawsuits, I understand that, I'm not anti-vaccine at all. Okay, you can get a vaccine. But the thing is, we should know what we're taking. We should have it all up to front, right? And that there is a vaccine compensation court. Okay, so if people are harmed, they can get some compensation. But you cannot they're protected from any kind of mass lawsuits with regards to those vaccines. Okay. And people go, well, but then, they can't be held accountable monetarily and it would devastate and we wouldn't have a standard steady vaccine supply. Okay. I mean, that's a legitimate point of argument. That's fine. But just understand, why do you give somebody like Robert F. Kennedy such a bad time over this issue? Like I just actually read that someone said, oh, well, he's financially, he's being able to be financially benefiting from the HPV vaccine lawsuit that's going on right now. And, I haven't looked into his involvement in that, but it's funny why people are like, oh, well, he's going to get a financial benefit from taking this position. But then nobody ever really questions Pfizer or Moderna or any of these other big pharma and how they, or politicians or doctors or anybody else in the medical establishment, how they may be actually benefiting by promoting certain drugs and vaccines. So, you use that argument against him, but then you're kind of silent and, oh, well, whatever, it's okay. We've got to, like suddenly left and, I'm 50, I'm going to be 57. And people, I remember when liberals and the left and Democrats actually were more questioning of these big pharma. And big pharma has a ton of money. We all know how the opioid epidemic rolled out. It's like, don't be ignorant about that. But it's like, understand that they do own the media. And so the messages you're getting, even on NPR, has been manipulated and misrepresented. Okay. So, we as citizens have a right to this information. And anybody that engaged in any bad faith argument with regards to Robert F. Kennedy, and again, disclaimer, I'm not trying to defend him specifically. I am just trying to use him as a example of how bad conversations and discussions go on really important health issues. I agree with him on many issues. Okay, I agree with him. I think that we need to know the science on vaccines. I agree with him about using nutrition rather than prescription medication. I believe that he is sincere with regards to wanting to make people healthy. There are things that I've heard today on the confirmation hearing that I don't agree with. I think he was weaselly about the abortion issue, which I don't like. There's some other issues that, yeah, I don't agree with that. But see, I can admit that. Can you? Can you actually even look at Robert F. Kennedy and say, oh, yeah, I agree with this part? I mean, don't you agree that, we should have safe drugs and food? I mean, can you say that? Because it feels like a lot of people that come down on him are just totally they don't want to listen to anything. And just, instead of going, well, I agree with that. And that, yeah, we need to have a conversation about that. But instead, all I have ever heard about Robert F. Kennedy, he's a nut job. He's a nut job. He's got brain-addled, brainworm brain, and that, oh, he's a drug addict. I can't understand the thing he's saying. What's wrong with him? Oh, he's probably all doped up on drugs. That's all I've ever heard. And they're completely wrong, and it's like, shame on you if you're on the left, right? That, was always talking about ableism and that, we shouldn't, be bullying and everything, but yet you bully Robert F. Kennedy. You totally bully him and mock him and ridicule him. Do you think that that's not bullying behavior, folks? Just saying. So anyway, when he went over to Trump, I was devastated. Okay. And I was mad at him, and I'm still mad at him. Okay. And, but I can at least honestly take an assessment and have my opinions about someone adjusted and evolve over time and hold people accountable. Nobody should be sitting there and saying, oh, this is, we on the left, if you're on the left, shouldn't be treating anybody as some kind of a God king. No one should ever do that. Left, right, or center. Don't do it. Okay. And so I disagree. I don't. I have more nuanced political opinions than people on the right will go, oh, you're just a Democrat. You're just a Democrat. And then people on the left are going to go, you're just MAGA Trumpster, blah, blah, blah. You don't know anything about me. You don't understand what my politics are. Okay. And it's because social media doesn't encourage this. We are kept at a divisive level, and that benefits the powers that be. Okay, I have posted many things on my account, Out of the Forest. Okay, Mark Passio, I've posted little clips. Listen to that guy. Listen and really take it in. And again, Mark Passio, is a great teacher, great researcher. And I can say that while I agree with a lot of the stuff and a lot of the material that he has put up there, I don't agree with 100% his position or whatever. But you've got to be discerning, and you've got to be able to, listen to the information, right? Don't judge based on someone's looks, how they speak, whatever. Like, Pete, you're all judging Robert F. Kennedy because he's got spasmodic dysphonia, which is the vocal cord issue, which another woman, Diane Rehm, who was a decades long, she had a show on NPR of all places, that she had that same issue. Okay. So if you are even thinking, I don't like him because the way he talks. Well, he's got a disability, folks. He has a disorder that he has. So you're going to make fun of somebody based on a physical disability that he has. Good going there. Like, you're a hypocrite, right? So, and same thing with the brainworm thing. Do you know that millions of people all over the world get brainworms? Gee, yeah, right? Just understand, I'm pointing at you because I am a liberal, okay? And I'm calling on the left to do better, okay? We are in this position that we are in because y'all didn't do your homework. And I'm sorry, because I know I have friends. I couldn't even talk about the origins of COVID without being labeled as a crazy conspiracy theorist, because I was pointing to and researching daily on where that was coming from, and the whole thing about the lab leak theory. Because I talked about that, I was ridiculed. I was made, oh, you're just a crazy conspiracy theorist, and you're racist, against China, I guess. And that was a common refrain. And yet now, many respectable, even the CIA, I think, has recently said, yeah, it probably came from the lab, but we can't prove it. I mean, it's like, it's so funny because a lot of these places are like, yes, but. So they're like, it came from a lab, you know, but it's like, I got ridiculed for it. And this is my whole point about, whenever I do a video, I talk, it's like, do your self work. Okay. Understand why you may have a bias or position, right? Because isn't that what the left is about? That we're not supposed to have biases in our conversations and our positions, etc. That we should do better. You know, let's have good faith arguments. Let's, understand that, let's not jump on someone for misspeaking or, maybe not being able to fully clarify their position at the get go. Don't jump on people. That's not a good faith argument, right? Like that's not how we engage in healthy debate. And yet that's how we engage in debate. And it's not doing us any good. It's not making things, it's not helping anybody to understand and uncover the truth or to hold people accountable and to do anything. So we need to take responsibility and do better, okay? We need to be able to say, oh, wow, I was wrong. I listened to that media story and wow, they were really coming down hard and I believed them. We're doing the same stuff a lot of the times that the right does. Let's do better. Let's be able to talk about these important issues because they are life and death, you know? And again, I'm not defending Robert F. Kennedy per se. There are things I like about him and things I agree with very strongly. And I hope, despite all of Trump's craziness, that he can make some positive shifts that needed to be and that are overdue for change. I really, really hope that. On the other hand, there are things that I disagreed that I heard today that I did not agree with and that I'm being very cautionary. But it's a responsibility for us to actually listen and go, what is he actually saying? And start a conversation and say, well, what is it that we want? What is it reasonable? Is this reasonable to have the science about vaccines? Yes, I think it is. Is it reasonable to have a conversation about, nutrition and health? Of course it is. So, let's talk about things that we like, that we know that we probably would like if we actually listen to him, but we can't because the door is shut going, oh, he's an anti-vaxxer. I'm not going to listen to anything he says. He brings up a lot of really good points, and we need to be able to maturely as a society discuss these issues instead of being silenced and ridiculed about them. And that is my main point. Okay, so go and study your ad hominem attacks, go study your logical fallacies and how to do healthy, engaging debates, support long form interviews, nuanced discussions, turn off mainstream media and their clickbaity crap, turn off all that crap. Okay, it's not helpful. I mean, it's fine to get little bits and pieces of the news, but it's your responsibility to actually do research and do your homework. And don't believe that every single little thing that comes into your news feed is the truth. And you should know that, right? We should know that. But the way I see people engaging in these conversations, you wouldn't know. And maybe they're all trolls. Maybe they're paid trolls at troll farms and they're sitting in a desk with a big troll farm, with a cell phone farm, and they're just rolling this divisive stuff out. And understand that the Hegelian dialectic that creates these two seemingly polar opposites are not polar opposites, and they're trying to engage us and to agree with a synthesis about a new world going forward. Okay, we should be questioning, you know, because both sides are being led to the slaughter, right? You know, it's just anyway. But um okay, discombobulated, you know, I haven't heard that, you know, I mean, but like Robert F. Kennedy has said, you know, he's got family that agrees with him and he's got family that disagrees. He's got a huge family. The Kennedy clan is a lot of people, okay? You know, I mean, with regards to the sexual issues that I've heard about, I don't know. I haven't fully, I haven't really fully investigated those, but I will say that I have my suspicions at times with regards to the whole sexual issues with regards to a lot of politicians, a lot of public figures. I, you know, it's an easy attack, and it's you know, I there's a lot more to these stories that I think that then meets the eye. I know for a fact that, you know, women are not like these pure innocent beings, and they can be very manipulative, and it's a good thing, you know. I mean, it's a good, you know, I believe that, but we need to take responsibility and everything. It's just craziness, you know. But it makes it a really easy way to attack and bring down people when you bring up about, oh, they're a predator or they're this or that. It's like, I mean, you know, that's popular and stuff, but there's sometimes a lot of these stories are manipulated, and you know, I don't know. Um, Everyone knows so much about nothing. It has always amazed me, all these that don't have any degrees in anything they're giving their advice on. I mean, yeah, you know, Brooklyn Marie. I don't know if you're. I don't know. Oh, no one's even here. But anyway, I'll respond to you anyway. Am I angry? Yes, Brooklyn Marie. I'm angry. I'm angry, and I have a right to be angry. There's nothing wrong with anger. Righteous anger is not, which is good. Um, Not makeup. Why? What are you saying? I'm not wearing makeup? Why should I? I am wearing makeup, but I'm sorry that I'm not pretty enough for you. Are you stoned? Why are you asking me that? Hi from India. Hi. Way you talking, girl. I know no one's on here anymore. Yeah, I was going, what is your opinion on MAGA? I think MAGA people are dumb, quite frankly. So anyway, yeah. I mean, I don't like Trump. I never have. I have spoken vocally against him. I continue to oppose him. I continue to speak out against MAGA. Um, I don't like it. I don't like the situation. I'm very, very concerned about it, and that's why I'm on here trying to have a discussion. And I'm trying to make the left better, because I think that, yeah, I think the Democrats and the left should do some work. You know, we're not perfect either. I'm not saying we're as bad as MAGA, because we're not, but we should do better. We should always strive to maintain improvement over ourselves, understand, learn, question. We should not be engaging in bad faith arguments and misrepresentation of people's arguments. We should be able to be courageous, to be able to agree with an enemy if they say something correct. We need to be able to do that, you know, and it's very important that we're able to do that. So, you know, that's an uncomfortable thing, and we should also be able to say when we're wrong, you know. It's like, oh, wow, I was wrong. Wow. You know, I mean, I can say that. I think we should all like work on that, because the inability to be able to say that you're wrong can continue to hide behind bad faith arguments because you're terrified of actually admitting that you are engaging in cognitive dissonance and that you might be wrong. We can see this on the MAGA side, correct? You know, that they're just making up all these stories and excuses and everything about, you know, what Trump is doing and everything. And they look like idiots, quite frankly. They really do. They look like idiots. And the left can look like an idiot too if they do the same thing. So just, you know, hey, just kind of look in a mirror there a little bit. So anyway, I'm going to go. But anyway, thanks for joining me. And thanks a lot. Check out my other videos. Bye.